This is Ship. He has the most Fortnite wins in the world, and we're going to find out how he gets so many. So, Ship, please tell everyone, how many wins do you actually have to put you in that #1 position?
Right now, I'm currently at 48,410 wins.
Wow.
Coming up on 50K.
Incredible. Holy, almost 50,000 wins. The thing that's even crazier is the gap, the distance between the second most number of wins in the world and you with #1. Do you actually know what the difference is?
I don't look that often, but people in chat will tell me it's like, I mean, people always wondering. It's like, yeah, it's like 20. It's like 20,000.
Yeah, it's over 21,000 wins between you in #1 and the person in #2, which is absolutely crazy. Now, obviously, one of the really cool things that people love to go for every season for wins is crowned wins, but those obviously reset every single season. So for the season that we're in at the moment, how many crown wins do you have? Do you actually know?
The weird thing was at the beginning of the season, I was bugged.
Oh, really?
I couldn't get XP. I didn't level up or get crown wins for about a week.
Wow.
But right now I'm at, I want to say about 1100, but I'm missing like probably another 200.
Do you go into games and flex that number on people a lot? Like, do you drop it or do you try and hide it just in case people like target you?
Sometimes in the pregame lobby, if like someone comes up to me and if they do the ground check, I'll do it. And then I've seen, I actually have a couple clips from prior seasons where they'll crown flex on me first and I'll do it and they'll leave the game. They'll back out. Yeah.
If I saw someone pull out 1,000 crown wins, dude, I'd be out of there as well. But it's not just actually wins. You actually have loads of eliminations as well, which you also hold the world record for and sit at #1, which is incredible. But to get all of these numbers and to build up this number of wins, you obviously need to play a lot of matches as well. So you have 48,000 wins. And the stats are saying you've played about 76,000 games, which gives you an insane win ratio. Do you go into games with a lot of pressure on your shoulders, knowing that you need to get a win, or are you just so used to it now, it just comes easy?
For me, it's more about the vibes and like while I'm playing, just try to keep good energy than like be very pressured about the win. Like the wins are gonna come. I know, like, because I'm used to it now. I just try to always have good vibes, and like if I lose, just say GG's, like not be like mad about it. Just
nice.
I don't know, like that's how I'm trying to be now. Before I felt like I was really like pressured to win games back then, like during the prime Fortnite. But now that it's been out a while and I have such a lead, I just try to be like good vibes, like never want to blame a teammate or like you know what I mean, always just GG's. And like I know a lot of people that I fight watch me, so I never want to come off as like rude.
I think that's a great way to be, and not putting too much pressure on yourself is also really important. And you mentioned there different eras of Fortnite. How long have you been playing Fortnite? Have you been there since day one, or did you get into it a little bit later? How long have you been playing for?
I've been playing since like the game first came out. I came from Call of Duty. I remember like a friend of mine on Xbox was like, yo, free Battle Royale games coming to Xbox. And I'm like, free game? I'll check it out. At first, I downloaded it and I felt like I wasn't bad at it, like right off the jump, but I didn't really like the game. I was like, man, this game's kind of like childish. Like, I don't really like it. And I actually uninstalled it.
Really?
Yeah, I uninstalled it. Yeah, my brother, Ryan, he was playing Fortnite a lot. He was telling me like, yo, you need to get back on Fortnite. Like, it's fun. And season 2, Black Knight season, I came back like midway through. I re-downloaded it and I never looked back. Just only playing Fortnite.
That's awesome. So you had a little bit of a break, but then you came back at the perfect time. Fortnite was still kicking. And when did you decide? At what point were you like, you know what? I want to go for a load of wins. I want to go for the most amount of wins, because that's something you have to decide. You don't just randomly go for that, surely.
I've grinded other leaderboards on Call of Duty. I've never been #1, but I've always been like top 10 because like I had school and stuff. Yeah, I've had school, so I could never like fully grind, but Fortnite was really popping. The first chapter 1, I only played solos and I had like 9,000 solo wins. I had the most solo wins.
Wow.
But I never had the most wins because a lot of people were playing squads, and it's easier to win games in squads than solos. Solos are way harder, but I felt like I was catching up to the #1 guy. I wasn't always #1, but I was always up there. And then I started playing more squads at the beginning of chapter 2, and that's when I took over most wins.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. I can see you're in a squad. Do you have like a go-to squad that you play with? Like, or do you rotate friends in and out? Like, how do you decide who to play with to get all of these wins? Because they got to be getting a lot of wins with you as well.
Yeah, no, I mostly play with close friends or people that I really know. Obviously, a lot of people want to play, and I do sub games on Saturday to like rotate people that I don't play with. But I play with a very like select number of people, more of like a smaller circle, just like a good group of friends. I would say they're really good at the game. They help me win, but it's like I said, for me, it's always about the vibes.
Yeah, that's important. If you're playing that much Fortnite, like you got to be having fun at the same time as well.
Like I said, the wins are gonna come, especially now, sadly, that there's a lot more bots in the game, and it's not as sweaty as it used to be. So I know the wins are gonna come. It's just trying to have fun with it.
I like
more than anything.
And you mentioned that you started playing on Xbox, and I can see that you're using a controller still to this day. But I believe you're now on PC. At what point did you decide to move over to PC, and how come you stuck with a controller? Did you ever think about moving over to keyboard and mouse?
Yeah, so started on Xbox, and then they introduced skill-based matchmaking. And at the time I was playing solos. My solo lobbies, I still remember to this day when I was on Xbox. It was like the end of chapter 1. I would have 20 people in my solo game. It was all real people, and they were like really good, and I could tell they were on PC, probably keyboard and mouse, and I was like, I need to upgrade to like more frames and get on PC, because this is like...
It's important. It's a big difference.
Yeah, like I can't hang on 60 frames. I got one PC, and then I got the dual PC, just because,
Streaming
so the game
everything?
so the game runs smoother, and then I am still on controller. I'm on a PS5 Edge controller. I think it's the best controller right now that you can play on.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, I'm a controller guy still, so I love it when I see other controller people sticking with controllers as well, so that's awesome.
But to answer your second part of the question, I have thought about keyboard and mouse. I actually played on the Azeron for about a month, if you know what the Azeron is.
Is that the hand
If you ever
thing?
heard of it? Yeah, month in, my mechanics were better. Like editing.
Yeah.
I was getting pretty good on it, but I just, like, everyone knows I'm on controller, you know what I mean? Like I felt like I was betraying the controller gang, so I went back.
I was loyal to that, you know?
Yeah,
like,
I was like, this isn't me. I was like, this isn't me. I'm controller. So I went back and...
I love that. Stuck with it. That's crazy. So you do have the skills transferring across, but you've gone back to controller. Going back to like just the sheer number of wins you're getting and the sheer number of wins that you've had over all the years. Do you know how many wins you average on a day? Do you have a number you try and aim for every day? Because it's got to be a lot, right?
During prime Fortnite, I was probably getting like 30 a day, I would say I was getting. When I was like grinding.
That's crazy.
Minimum like 12 hours I was playing. I wasn't really aiming for anything. It was more of just like, if I wasn't playing 12 hours, it wasn't a grind. Like it had to be over 12 hours.
And do you think you got better during those 12 hours? I feel like I get tired towards the end of the 12 hours. Or do you like lock in even more as you go along?
Well, it was when I was playing builds. So like, I feel like it takes a minute to warm up in builds. Maybe it's just me. So after 6 hours, I felt warmed up, but there was definitely days where I felt very burnt out. People have asked me like if playing a lot makes you better. No, you got to work on things. Like I tell people, play tournaments. Like just playing pubs 12 hours, you're not going to get better. Like I've got a lot better playing tournaments.
I like
for sure.
that. I think it puts a little bit more pressure on you, doesn't it? And it means a little bit more. So yeah, I like that. I think that's really good advice. We'll talk a little bit more about some tips you have for people in a minute. But you mentioned there like 12 hours a day, a lot of playing. Do you know what your total play time is in Fortnite? Have you ever checked that? I mean, it must be a lot, right?
If you go to your Fortnite tracker, I'm at 16,201 hours, but that's not 100% accurate. They started tracking that later, so I don't know my actual play time, but I would say that certainly I definitely have the most play time on Fortnite. I could guarantee that legitly. Legit play time.
All the wins. So, like, you're there grinding all the time. That is incredible. Now, with all of those wins, as I did actually say earlier, it comes with a lot of eliminations as well. You have over 550,000 kills, which is absolutely crazy. Are there any moments that really stand out, or any, like, number of wins that when you hit felt really special, or anything that... Big highlights throughout your, like, career playing Fortnite?
Definitely, like, the first huge amount. Like, 10K wins really stands out to me. I was still on Xbox. I still remember that. 10K wins. And then 100K kills. I was the first console player to hit 100K kills.
Nice.
I was the first person to do that, but Ninja and High Distortion beat me to 100. We were in a race at that time.
I remember those two racing as well.
High Distortion got it first, and then I was the first person on console to hit 100K kills.
Wow. Congrats. A lot of people watching this will be, just incredibly impressed with how many wins you have, but I'm sure a lot of people out there will struggle a little bit more. Hey, I don't get a lot of wins anymore. So have you got any sort of tips, any general tips, or anything that you can recommend for people to do? You mentioned, like, you know, playing tournaments, or maybe like just warming up before you go into a game. Anything that you could share with people watching this video to help them get more wins as well?
First off, let me say this. Playing in the morning, the lobbies are easier. So if you're struggling to win, if you can play like morning time, the lobbies aren't as sweaty.
I can't lie, I did notice that. If I play in the evening, it is crazy. Like, it's so much harder.
More people are on, more set teams. Another thing, too, is, like, try to find people that you have fun playing with, like squads.
Nice.
Squads is definitely easier. But if you want to get better, I would recommend like solos. I mean, solos aren't the most fun, but solos help a lot because no one can help you. And then also just playing, like I said, tournaments, you know, you're fighting better people. You're in situations that you're not normally in. And then finding a sensitivity that you're comfortable with and sticking with it. Don't change your sense a lot because that messed me up for a while. I was changing my sense a lot. I've been on the same sense for a long time.
For controller players and PC people, obviously with their mouse, I got ripped when Fortnite first came out because I came from a COD background for having such a low sensitivity. But like, it works. You've got to find what works for you, haven't you? And stick with it because, as you said, the muscle memory will get ingrained into important tips and hopefully help a load of people out there as well. You also mentioned that obviously now we've got a big split between zero build and build mode as well. Do you ever bounce between both of them, or do you just stick with zero builds? Like, which mode do you prefer at the moment?
When zero build first came out, when I hated it. I was like, man, this isn't Fortnite. Like, what am I playing? Like, when they made when they forced us to, do you remember that? When they forced us to play zero build, I was like, I'm gonna take a break. Like, I'm not doing this. I was hating on it really bad. But I would do zero builds. What I would do, like community games, because it was more chill. And I was dropping like 20 bombs, and I was like actually having fun with it. I was like, man, I'm starting to get really good at zero builds, and I feel like it's more of what I'm better at, like my aim and my game sense.
From Disney Animation and the groundbreaking storytellers of Kugali.
You want to see the real...
And coming from that COD background, I guess, without building probably helps a little bit.
Coming from COD. So I was like, I kind of want to get more into zero builds, and I only play zero builds now, and then once in a while I'll play a little bit builds, and chat likes that. Like, they like seeing me switch it up, but mostly just zero builds. Like all the tournaments I play zero builds and stuff like that.
It's really interesting because there's definitely like a split player base now. Hey, but the sounds of it, you can jump into either of them, which is really cool. Now, you mentioned tournaments. I've been grinding for the first time this season in ranked mode, and I've really enjoyed it. Just felt a little bit more competitive, honed in my skills a little bit. Do you play ranked? And if you do, what is your rank?
Build mode, I don't play much ranked. I played a little bit. I'm Diamond 2. I was just playing that a little bit, a couple of games. But every season since zero builds, I do hit Unreal. I've had a couple of seasons in the past where I've only grinded ranked. The most I've gotten to, so I ended Unreal number 6, chapter 4, season 3.
Number 6?
Wow, I was grinding only ranked. Yeah, the lowest I got to was number 3 because you have to play non-stop. Top 10 Unreal, like all those guys are grinders, like they're playing all day.
I didn't think you touched ranked that much because it would maybe hinder how many wins you're getting, but you're still smashing it in there as well against good players, so that's awesome.
Yeah, that helped me too playing ranked because there's no bots, and like especially at zero builds, it's a lot of the same people, and they're pretty good, so it was really competitive.
Now, obviously, you've hit some crazy numbers. You've had so many wins along the way. Do you have like a next goal or something you're aiming for that keeps you motivated, that you're still looking to get and continue this grind with wins in Fortnite?
I did what I wanted to do. I have the most wins, the most kills. I mean, I'm coming up on 50K. That's been on my mind. Like, I'm 2K away. 50K wins is probably gonna be the biggest milestone I've ever hit.
I'm gonna have to tune in for that. That sounds exciting. I love that you're still motivated. I love that you're still grinding. If people want to tune in and maybe see you get your 50K win, where can they find you? On YouTube? You're on Twitch?
Twitch, I stream every day. You know, I don't want people to think I'm not legit. I stream all my games, and then I also upload certain gameplays on my YouTube.
It's been so nice to talk to you. Congratulations on just the incredible amount of wins you've had. I'm wishing you massive luck for 50,000. Thank you so much for chatting for me. Thank you so much for giving all of these guys tips, and wishing you all the best in your future in Fortnite.